Hello, hello. How's everybody doing tonight? It's cold. What's happening? Welcome in, welcome in. It is Friday. And I did put slow mode on tonight. Lisa Clovey, I did put slow mode on tonight. So you have to wait 60 seconds. Hang on. There we go. 60 seconds before posting in a row. So if it gets a little frustrating, just say something to me. Can you hear me all right? I got the new microphone from the podcast, so giving it a shot. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Hey there, LG. Lori, how are you? Hey, Gail Southern Living. Hello, Garden to Table with Heather Lynn and Kitchen Garden Therapy. Welcome in. Welcome in. And for those of you who just came in, I did put slow mode on for 60 seconds to make it easier for me to keep up with the chat. Hey there, Rebecca Davis. Hello, Jackie Saylor. Girlfriend, what's up? Hey, Mad Acre Farms, Virginia Fruit Grower, my Renaissance Grandma, and Bland's Promised Land Ranch. Welcome, welcome. So yes, reminder, the slow-mo is on for 60 seconds just to make it easier for me to keep up with the chat. Because I don't like to miss people and I feel like I was falling down on that. So wanted to give you guys a heads up. Hey there, Charlie, Fallen Arkansas Veterans. Hello, Wright Family Homestead. Welcome in, welcome in. So yeah, I've invited some different panel guests up tonight, some of the same, some different. Whoever is welcome to come on up. I've sent out the invites to them, so we should have a fun evening. It's almost like the lottery. You never know who's going to come on up, you know. Hey, Ginger Ninja, hope you're doing well. Like your new rig that you got. It's very exciting. But yeah, so, you know, guests, if anybody's here that wants to come on up who has the link, welcome on up at any time. But yeah, it's been, we've got a cold day today here. And cold. Oh no, Gwen, take care of yourselves. I'm sorry your power just went out. That's brutal. That's brutal. You guys stay safe. I hope it comes back on quick. We had some negative temperatures the past 2 nights, and we're warming up, which is wonderful. Hey, Sheila, Pastime 84. Welcome in, welcome in. Hey, Teresa, Stringfield Ridge Farm. Hello, Tommy, Pastime 84. Welcome in, welcome in. Supposed to rain and maybe turn into snow later in the evening. Garden to Table with Heather Lynn said. Hey, Gail Southern Living, how are you? Love your new logo. Hey, Leanne Mennonite Farmhouse. Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, so we just... we've had some cold snow. We've had some negative temperature weather, and now we're going to be warming up, so that'll be good. 10 degrees and snowing by Slava. Yeah, it's like a roller coaster by you. Hey, Paul's Green Space. Welcome in. Welcome in. We got our first guest here. Let me just hide the current comment. Again, we've got slow mode on. If it gets to be annoying, feel free to tell me, but I just want to see if I can keep up. But here's the beautiful Jamie at Mad Acre Farms. Hi.
Hi, can you hear me okay, Lisa?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
It's the new podcast setup thing.
I was wondering.
So, well, it works out good because Ryan works a lot of hours. And so he's literally right there watching TV with my other headphones on. And then this just makes it easier and we don't have to worry about copyright issues.
You know what? I've never thought about that. That makes sense. That makes absolute sense.
Yeah. It totally does. I did a video one time. I'm sure you've had moments like that where you're sitting there and you're like, oh, like I want to film, but I'm just not feeling it today.
Yeah.
And Ryan was having one of those days, and we filmed something and the garage radio was on. Never do that again. I had to voice over the whole thing.
Did you?
Yeah. Made a lot of work.
You just don't think about it. You really don't.
So true. Hey, Lazy Days Ahead. Welcome in. Hey, Annette, the Cow Emporium. Just want to see who else, make sure I didn't miss anybody. I'm actually able to read the chat tonight. This is pretty cool. Oh, Lori, totally understand. She doesn't have her glasses on, so she's not chatting much, guys. Totally get that. So what's been going on with you, Jamie?
We went to the USDA office today to register our farm and see if we can't sign up for the high tunnel program for next year.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing that. So it'll be interesting. We'll see kind of what happens here at Mad Acre Farms throughout the winter.
That's exciting. Thank you, Jesse.
Oh,
he's sweet.
Hey, you know what else we're doing that I forgot to mention to you before? We actually, have you ever propagated lilac bushes?
I have lilac bushes, but no, I've never propagated them.
It is crazy because like we actually, I'll let you go to the chat and then I'll tell you more.
Well, the only thing that I wanted to say was I had pinned a comment for Alicia at Country Mama Musings, and I see she's here now. She is so close to her 1K milestone. She's at 970 something. So just a heads up, folks. And I put her link up there. And the same thing with Lazy Days Ahead. They're pretty close to their 500 mark. So we want to get them there. And yeah, Jackie, sorry, I've got it for 60 seconds so I can read it because it's kind of rough.
Does that throughout the whole stream, Lisa, or do you have the opportunity to change it, or is it just set through the whole live stream?
It's my understanding I can shut it off midstream if it causes an issue because I have Nightbot up. I could be wrong. We'll find out. But it just makes it easier because the past few weeks I feel like I was missing people and I don't like that feeling.
Yeah.
So, and then I feel like I wasn't managing it well. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, but I think most people understand too, right? Because it is difficult to do the stream and then try to pay attention to the chat, and you miss stuff. But I think everybody kind of understands that as well.
Yeah, I think so too. But I wanted to try and fix it and make it a little better.
Yeah.
I can move it to 30 seconds if you guys tell me, just because I want you guys to have some feedback. Hey, Evan's Family Adventures. Let's see here. Just want to go down. Hey, Hike with Mike. Hi, Ann, little Frenchie. How are you? And let's see here. Hey, Ariella, Viking Venture and Victuals. Yes, Charlie. Any 200 is a milestone. If you're like me, anything's a milestone. Like I think they do it every 50 is a milestone.
Yeah, it really is.
Leanne says, I guess we'll find out. Hi, Brampton Gardner. She's slowing down her comment. That's funny. I just want to catch up here. Hey, Country Papa Jim, welcome in. Yeah, no worries, Ariella. Relax away. So that's really cool that you did that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So we went to the USDA just to find out more information because I felt like we're missing out on some opportunities. And we were, because we also found out about an opportunity for our property for a windbreak. They do offer that as well. So there's a lot of things out there that you can do, and so we just kind of started to research a little bit more that's out there. So
that's exciting stuff. I love it.
Yep. So if anybody in the chat, if you guys are in a rural area and you're looking at potential high tunnel, there's definitely some grants out there that would forward that to you. However, it is obviously taxable income if you do qualify for it. But yeah, there's definitely some stipulations there, but it sounds pretty promising.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Uncle Al. I would love to. I would love to do that. I had looked into it a while ago, but I've got to get the business side of it up and going and stuff like that. Does it take a lot to register the farm?
No, when we registered the farm, I was able to do it today because we created an LLC for our farm because we're doing the market garden and CSA. But I don't necessarily think that we had to have that to get that going. It was just an application process to do that. So it really didn't take much except just have the space of where you're going to put it. Show them where you're going to put it.
Sounds good. Gotcha. I was just looking at the chat. I think Eric at Bland's. I think he's trying to come on. Okay, good. All right. Hold on. Let me bring Eric up. I got Eric here. What up?
What's going on, everybody?
Not much. How about you?
I'm doing good. Look, it's the Roadrunner up there with you.
I know.
Not just Jamie.
It's not just Jamie.
No, I want a video of that though. Now, come on now. I want to see you out running some coyotes.
Oh man, that video would have went viral. I promise you, it would have. So I was out running, and when I saw it, honestly, like they always tell you not to run away from it or turn your back to the coyote, right? So like, I didn't know what to do, so I just like made myself look big. So I made myself look big, and I roared at it, right? And then I made the mistake, and I turned around, and then it started running after me, and there was like multiple. There was like 2 or 3 of them. And so I had to turn around again. And then I just ran home backwards.
Wow. Well, you know, the funny thing is over at our property, we at one time had 4 dogs. And anytime there was 3 or more together, then they would actually pack up. And you would see them really work at it. But because I've seen plenty of coyotes, like independent ones. I don't know if they've just kind of broken off from the pack or what, but they're usually like a bunch of chickens when they're by themselves. But you get them together, you better watch out.
You know, and I don't know, Lisa, do you have anything in the chat? I don't want to pull you away from the chat.
I was just going to say, hey, Dwayne, how's it going? Let's see. Jackie Sailor was saying hi to Eric, and he was waving back at her. Lisa Palobi said, hey, Eric. Yeah, no worries, Nisi. I totally understand. Do what you got to do with the boys. That's more important, okay? No worries at all. Yeah. I've had issues with coyotes before myself because I used to run and walk, believe it or not, in the morning early, and between that and raccoons, because the raccoons would be climbing in the trees above the road.
Yep.
And chaotic adventures. Welcome in.
When we were in Colorado, there was an incident where one of the neighbors, his husky got out, right? And we had the whole neighborhood looking for this husky. Well, what had happened was there was a bunch of there was a pack of coyotes, right? And what they have done is they lure these dogs out with them, and they're playing with them, and then they get them away from everything, and then they ended up, obviously killing the dog. But we got this. It had happened to their prior husky, so they had everybody kind of running around trying to find this dog, and they found it with a pack of wolves or with coyotes. So it was just crazy. There's very smart animals.
Hey, Troy, Bar Run Forge. Hey, Ark Wildman. I like Leanne's smash the like button every time you see a pink light behind me.
I like your setup there, Lisa. The blurry look behind you. It looks very professional.
I thought it was cool. Good thing I stumbled on that tonight. Yeah, the coyotes are just in Connecticut. They were very, very brazen. Yeah, I don't think we can talk about it. They were very brazen.
How long were you in Connecticut?
2000 to 2011.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, we used to have bears run right through our driveway all the time.
Yeah.
And they were beautiful. I mean, seriously, like, you know, the gun stuffed animals, that's exactly what they look like.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, their coloring and their markings and the lines where the tan was, it was literally so perfect.
Yeah.
And they were beautiful, but they did whatever they wanted to do. Then we had bears in North Carolina. In North Carolina, in Asheville, they would be in the city. You would see them walking around the city, and they had a collar program to track them because there were so many issues with them. And I remember having the building that I worked at, we ended up having to, on several occasions, lock the doors and tell people, we used to call them codes. We had to do a code because of the fact that a mama bear was out there with her babies.
Yeah.
So crazy.
It is.
Ooh, Alicia's at 979. Country Mama's at 979. Let's get her going. Lift her up.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
Barb's Country Home. Do they, Uncle Al? Do they? Because aren't they like garbage eaters? I'll take your word for it, but they're garbage eaters.
Hey, out here they're eating chickens and all that good stuff. So.
Oh, they're eating good then.
Yeah.
Country Mama's holding her breath. Did you see the comment that Troy said about you, Eric?
Yeah. Yeah. We had who was it? Rich over at Swedes, Old Swedes Farm or whatever. He was saying something last night. He was asking if Monica was feeling okay because I had a lot of words I was saying.
That's funny. Hey y'all, let's make some noise in the chat for Slava. She passed 500. Woo woo! Congratulations, Slava. Kitchen Garden Therapy. Great job. Very exciting. Thank you, moderators, for doing such an amazing job. I saw Nisi made a comment. She's like, Uncle Al, no. That's awesome.
I'd eat some dogs if I had to.
Oh my God.
It's probably not the right thing to say, but I mean, you know, the funny thing is, like, when we talked about this a little bit last night on our live about just, you know, survival and things like that. But, you know, you get to the point where you're hungry, you're eating something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not eating grass. I can tell you that much.
I mean, I probably would.
You would eat grass?
Yeah.
Rather than a coyote?
Yeah. I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I hope I'm never put in that position, Eric.
I'm with you.
We all hope that, but you know, the reality.
But I guess if push comes to shove and it goes down, I guess that's what I got to do. You know?
Yeah.
Grass and dogs. Kill Southern living. We were joking at dinner time because somebody had asked Ryan about. Somebody asked him about, hey, you know, what if you don't sell the piglets or something like that? And he's like, well, we'll eat them. So, yeah. And then it was funny because Diesel was at the dinner table and he was sitting there all quiet, and Ryan was looking at him and he says, I think Diesel thinks we're going to eat him. I said, hey, if it works. Pigeons, really? I don't know, Rochelle. I don't think I could do pigeons. I think I'd go with the rabbits.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're frozen.
Yeah, something with my camera. I want to back out for a second and come right back in.
All right, I'm going to take you off the screen and then tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
So what else is going on, Jamie?
Nothing, just getting things. Oh, tomorrow we actually have a conference that we're attending. It's Acres of Opportunity. And so it's actually at the college where they're having different breakout sessions where it's for small farmers and urban gardeners. Mm-hmm. And so we're able to kind of pick certain sessions throughout the day and join those sessions. So we're looking forward to that. So we're going to be doing that.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Grace and Fire. And Eric, I don't know if you heard all that, but Jamie was talking about where they're going tomorrow.
Where are they going?
Maybe you want to repeat that, Jamie, just because I think it's really cool.
We're doing it's called Acres of Opportunity. It's for like new farmers or small farmers at the college, and there's just like breakout sessions throughout the day that you can join, which I think is really cool. You know what I mean? And honestly, it kind of gave me an idea. Like we could do something like that on YouTube. You know what I mean? Have like mini sessions with different channels.
Yeah.
You know, with that kind of thing, like a collaboration. But yeah, so we're doing that tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're excited.
That is really awesome. I love stuff like that.
I've noticed a lot with, I don't think the pair of you are involved in the MIG Grow Off, right? There's a couple people that are on our team, and they've done these sessions where you basically sign up and they teach you some different methods of how to plant things, and I thought that was pretty cool.
It is cool. I think Gigi Naturals does it, and I think Tasha Oshie Grows. I think she has something too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tasha was the last one that I saw that was putting something up, and I was like, "Oh, look at her go!" She's the sweetest lady too. I could sit there and watch and listen to her all day just because of the way, she just, I don't know.
Just the presentation.
What's that?
It's the presentation. I think it's just how she talks in the presentation about it. But like, I don't know. Do you guys, Lisa? Do you do TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
No.
Eric, are you guys? Oh, you're not. She's an outstanding. Like her and Gigi Naturals have great TikToks. Like really awesome tutorials.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
You guys should get TikToks.
Hi, Sandy. How are you? I'll tell you why I haven't. I can't keep. It's me doing it, and I can't keep up.
It's hard.
The sole reason why I have not is I can't keep up. Hey, Jenny at Northern Girl Hobbies. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is like, that's just another platform. I try to stick to YouTube and Instagram. TikTok is fun, Grace and Fire. I agree. For me to start posting there, that would mean a million things. As it is, I do Instagram and YouTube, and I have the Facebook, but it's only the business page. So I don't really do a lot there except post, but it's just too much. It is. I admire people who can.
It's a lot. It is a lot to do. But I tell you what, I don't know if you guys actually get on TikTok, but like I can like spend hours on it. It's ridiculous. I'll be like, and then all of a sudden I look like, oh my gosh, I got to go to bed. It's addictive. Exactly
why I stopped looking at reels on Instagram.
Oh, it's the same thing. Exactly. Yeah.
It's like this.
I know.
Hey, Zombie Prepper. Hey, Debbie's Home Place. Welcome in.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I have found that the YouTube shorts kind of do the same thing. They kind of lure you in, and I'm trying to be a student of YouTube and learn some different hooks and things that draw people in. Well, I kind of made a mistake the other day. I started watching these videos. Lisa, you'll appreciate this. Some videos with the Crip Walk and some like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg music or whatever. And before I knew it, and it was only like a couple videos, but before I knew it, they had like all these rappers. I have no idea who they are. This guy's 6'9" or whatever that, ratted out some of his friends or something like that. And, he was going to get busted. I'm like, why? And I was telling my son about it. I'm like, how did I go from watching like homesteading, ranching, food videos over to like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and all these other rappers that I'm like, I have no interest in this, yet I can't stop watching it. They just keep bringing their stuff up.
Are we going to see Crip Walk on your next video, buddy?
No. No. It's funny. If anybody's out there that watches, Crip, or if they practice Crip walking, I don't know, whatever the proper terminology is, though.
This morning.
Working on your slide moves there. Okay. The inverted toe heel touch or whatever. But anyway, I was watching it and I was like, it's all right. I might get too deep for you. If I get too deep for you, Lisa, it's your channel. So just tell me to shut up. But I started looking at it and I'm like, at first I was like, that's a pretty cool dance. And then I was like, wait a minute, what is a sea walk? And I started thinking about it. I'm like, it's a crip walk. It's a gang dance. And there are so many people that are glorifying this gang dance.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you know, we live in a society right now where everybody talks about equal rights, you know, men and women, black and white, and all this different stuff. Yet they had a guy that was accused and on trial for murder wearing his Crip colors and doing the Crip dance at the Super Bowl. And I was like, wait a minute, what is happening right now? This is a dude that absolutely has no respect at all for women, probably not even people in general. But anyway, I don't know. There you go. Off my soapbox.
Hey, Zombie Prepper. Hey, Debbie's Home Place. Hey, Life with Belinda and Chuck. Northern Girl Hobbies, I'm glad you're doing better. I saw a comment. This is so true. Yeah, because I've stopped looking at reels. Like there are days I'll do it and I lose time, but that's the reason why I've stopped looking at them.
It's true.
Because I'm lost.
Yeah.
Like gone.
I know.
And
it's true.
It's like yesterday, Jamie, I had literally messaged you and was going to go watch your video. And then you saw I didn't get to your video until today. And I know you're not keeping track. I'm just using it as an example that I had some issues. I filmed something ahead of time. And yesterday I went to go use it. And I don't know if anyone knows the answer about brand names, but I filmed something with brand names in it, but it wasn't a review. So that's where it gets dicey, is my understanding.
Mm.
And I'll explain that in a minute. So anyway, yesterday just turned into one of those days. The next thing you know, it was 1 o'clock in the morning before I got my video posted and I went to bed. Yeah. So that's why I was not at your live last night, Eric.
All good.
Which was probably a good break because nobody got ousted. But poor Leanne had to listen to me last night as well as Alicia. And your wife.
She told me a little bit about it. I was going to ask if you were feeling better today.
Much better today. Much better. I even took a nap.
Enjoying retirement. There you go.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny part. You know when everything is, you know when it's like all first world problems and really it's not the end of the world, but when everything's happening, on top of it all, Ryan goes out to work on my truck and he thought the window was frozen. It wasn't, it was broken.
Mm.
So, with all the chaos in the world, yesterday we were down to minus whatever, 10 or something like that. He's out there freezing his hands off and he's got the door apart and of course nobody's got the part. So he tarped it up, closed the door and was lucky enough to get the part an hour from us today. But for a while there, we thought it was going to be tarped in the driveway for a while.
You never know.
It's true. It's true. But yeah, so back to the question about the brand. So I did that hydroponic container. And the container was a coffee container. And there's branding all over it. And so when I did my research, I did my video. And then when I put it up there in editing, it's hitting me in the face. And so if you're doing a brand review, they talk about how that's okay because they'll gladly accept the kudos to their brand or the exposure. But when you're doing different things, when it comes to brands, that's when they give you a problem. And I'm sitting there like having one of those, YouTube moments of what do I do? What do I do? And I ended up refilming the whole thing. I don't know if anybody has the answer, but Northern Girl Hobbies, yes, Sherman needs to meet Stitchberry for sure.
Could you blurt it out, Lisa?
I tried, but the problem is the person filming kept putting their hand in front of it. So when I put the red blur, this is the red blur, you'd see my hand. So it was horrible. It was horrible.
I think sometimes and I know that we've talked about it on many different lives. I don't know on yours or not, but sometimes we're so critical of ourselves that we're so overly critical on it. You know, that's one of the things that I've tried to kind of chill out on videos, is not to make it so hyper perfect, so that
Right.
I mean, and that I don't. For some people, maybe it doesn't fit. For me, I mean, Monica and I are so goofy anyway that I think it actually, when I've kind of gone back and looked at the ones I just let the little things, the little imperfections go, it kind of made it more ours anyway.
Yeah. Bye, lazy days ahead. No problem at all. Yeah, I wasn't trying to be perfectionist. I was more worried about getting dinged for a trademark
Can you
or
get
copyright.
You can do that. That would happen.
So when I did my research, they talked about many places said it wasn't a big deal. Like if you're wearing clothing or if you're, you have a product in the background, that's not an issue. I was worried because I was defacing a container. I know that sounds stupid, but if the company sees it as derogatory, they can say something.
I see. What were you? I told Lisa to smoke a few for me last night. I'm just curious. What were you smoking?
Cigarettes. She told me, she's like, walk away from the computer and have a smoke. And I'm like, I did that. It was just frustrating, But yeah, it's just hard because when you go to search for information and you look at the copyright and you look at the community guidelines and you look at all those things, you never get a clear answer. So it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
But I did see a couple of videos that were like, blur it out. So I just went with it.
Yeah.
Good night, Northern Girl Hobbies. Enjoy listening. Thanks for being here.
I don't do that. I probably should. But
well, it's probably different for us because we're not monetized yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess part of me is, because I know sometimes Monica has said things about not necessarily products, but other things. And I'm like, it is what it is. I mean, I'm already putting my life out there for everybody to see. If they want to pull it down, pull it down. I know that one video I did with the pig where I was having problems with the boar. And in the middle of the one scene, I pulled my gun out and racked the slide. I was wondering, I'm like, well, that might be a little too far, but I was trying to show people the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
It is the reality of the situation. You have to be prepared in case something would have went wrong, like you said, to protect your family.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, it's funny. I went through the whole video and that's the stuff I don't care about, right? Because here I went through the whole video and what do I notice at the end? Ryan had come in soaking wet from work and took a pair of jeans, and instead of laying them in the hamper, which thank you, but he hung them by the wood stove so they would dry before putting them in there. And I'm doing the video and I told Leanne, I'm like, and there's a pair of jeans hanging from the grow lights. But I left that in there. I don't care. That's life.
So I haven't seen the video yet, but what was the video about? What was the product?
It was hydroponic. I made a cracky method container using a coffee container.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's still branding in there, but I guess the right way to say it is the very bold, fancy, colorful one. I covered with blue tape the second time, but you know how it is on coffee containers, they mold it into it. But I felt that was less obvious.
Gotcha.
You guys aren't doing anything with hydroponics, are you?
Eric, you mean?
No.
Yeah. Right. No.
No, we've never done that before. I know that again, back to the MIG grow off. There's one of the guys that's on our team, and I can't remember his name. You guys probably have seen him before, but Monica had been watching some of his videos, and she was saying that it might be something very easy to try. So the thing is that for us, I feel like we try to really focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
I'm that person where I think that we need to decide whether what we're doing is working or not. And if it's not, then let's switch over to something else and not keep one thing going, but then
Mhm.
start another one, and then wind up getting so bogged down with things. Even going back to like we were talking about with the TikTok thing.
Yeah.
Monica started an account probably about a week ago. And
Yeah.
as soon as she told me that she did that, I looked at her and I'm like, I thought we've discussed that you have so much to do already.
Mm.
And she's like, oh, but it's real easy and it's just this. And it's like, but it's just another thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and so I try to do that with, with our animals or growing. And so it's certainly something that I'm interested in looking at in the future.
Mhm.
But this year, I think our big focus for indoor growing was the, doing the seedlings and growing things under the grow lights and things like that. It's a first for us.
Yep. Hey, Seed Faith Homestead. Thanks, Sandy, Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona, for coming in. Enjoy your watercolor. Let's see here. Brampton Gardner. It's one of those things I'm not taking a chance because I know about the strikes and I'm just trying to, if it's something that I can avoid, I'm going to avoid it. You know what I mean? Compared to, I'm just trying to do my research and be, I guess, a good YouTube channel. I guess the right way to say it, like, why should I go out of my way if I can just do some research and do it? And it just was a frustrating day because then when I went to go do a thumbnail, Canva was down. And I was like, hey, business services and opportunities. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, definitely. I recommend it, Slava, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
So easy. Hey, LP. Ooh, LP just started her Aero Garden.
Yeah, that's cool.
I use the Aero Garden fertilizer just because it makes life easier. It's already mixed and ready to go. Hey, Freezer Bound Outdoors. You're going to love your Aero Garden, LP. I like it. It's a passive system. And, the bok choy is a little different than lettuce is what I'm finding because I'm new to that one. And I'm finding that I shouldn't have used the rings on the jars like I did with the lettuce because you can't just sneak it over it like you could the lettuce, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm noticing is the lettuce grew a little quicker than the bok choy just because of the way that, obviously it fruits and all that. But it's doing really well and it's amazing. But I just wanted to look for another way to do something. So I'm going to try tomatoes. I told Ryan I'm done with soil. I'm done.
So that's
It's all him.
That's cool. I think that is like hydroponics has been a little bit of a challenge, and like I can relate to what you said, Eric, because like being so new to farming and gardening and that kind of thing, I think we made the mistake of doing everything all at once. And that also included like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. So it's like not only were we doing that, but we're also doing everything we can for farming and that. And it's so overwhelming that we, what is that saying?
Nitroid.
Jack of all trades, master of. Yeah. And that's what
sorry.
Yeah. So like, that's what I feel like right now where we're at. And now we're just trying to find our footing again, but we definitely want to figure out hydroponics.
And now you do it. I've seen your videos, like, because you guys do it outside, and that's a much different challenge than what I've got going on.
Yeah, we have I don't know if you guys are familiar with NFT. It's a nutrient film technique. Basically, all it is it's a big tank with a pump, and it pumps the water through to like a bunch of channels, and your plants sit in and just flows the water, continuous flow of the water to give it nutrients, and it grows. And the idea behind it was to do that as a succession type planting here in the good old state of Iowa, so we can continually have like our leafy greens throughout the winter. But having that system in our greenhouse and it being so cold, it was just one challenge after another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Nisi, I just put a comment in the chat for you. I mean, you could get those arrow growers, but sometimes, like today I did that video just to show you can do it. And even though I use the clay pebbles because they say that the clay pebbles create a better environment for the plant, I'm sure you could use rocks as long as there's enough airflow.
Lisa, you also use rock wool though with that. Do you ever, right? Like, do you ever just use just the clay pellets without the rock wool?
No, and honestly, that's just because that's how I was taught.
Okay.
Was you started in the rock wool, which is essentially a material made from lava.
Yep.
And they say, like some people talk about the fibers aren't good for you, like insulation and all that, but I'm wetting it down. Thank you, Joe Serrano. Wow, thank you so much. I will treat him to some dog candy. Thank you, Joe. That was very kind of you.
Wow. Nice. Very nice.
Yes, thank you so much. So, yeah, I mean, so the rock wool is the only thing that I look at as a cost issue because I have to buy rock wool. But the way I look at it, when I showed my video, I'll admit I did something stupid. I put the whole tray in out of the package and wasn't thinking. But I can tell you when the lettuce didn't come up, I was picking the seeds out of it and I let it dry out and I use it. So it's not like I'm wasting it, but that's the only thing you have to buy is that square of rock wool.
Yeah. It's really not too bad. And you get a lot. You get a lot for it. And I think Ariel, is it Ariel or Ariel? She said, would this system work for garlic or onions?
I don't know. I don't know. They take longer to grow. I do know that the one that I did was more about faster growing plants for Kratky. But people have done things like tomatoes and cucumbers with Kratky, but it's on a much larger scale because you have to accommodate. If you think about the mason jar, for a bok choy, that's one thing. But for a tomato, even though I made that coffee can one, I'm going to have to put it in a 5-gallon pail and maybe a 55-gallon drum.
Yeah.
Just because you have to have room for the roots. Good night, Jackie Sailor.
Because you can trellis it up, and then from that hydroponic system, you can constantly get that fruit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. I'm looking forward to it. I told Ryan, outside garden is all you. I've been trying to I have green onions in the takeout trays in soil. They're not doing much at all.
Okay.
I've got lettuce in soil, not doing much at all. And yet the cherry tomatoes, 2.5 days later, they're germinating and they're growing, which usually isn't that quick. So it's a big difference in the environment for the rock wool with the fertilizer.
I think it makes sense in climate like ours to do that. You know what I mean? We're like, maybe in Texas, maybe your season, I think, is a lot longer, right? And so like you have would you say that? Or maybe like from like a greenhouse perspective, I mean, how cold does that get, Eric? Like in your greenhouse, like, and I think you guys had an instant where it definitely froze some of your plants, but is that the 20% or is that the 80 during this time?
Hey, Krubby the Beagle.
80%. What do you mean?
Like, is it, during your winter months like that, does it really get down that cold in Texas? So it's just like it's more like maybe 20% of the time versus 80% of the time.
The problem we have in the summertime is the heat side of it, because we have to, where you all are struggling harder at wintertime, I guess, to keep your plants alive or not frozen or, whatever. That's where we find ourselves more on the summer side because of the high heat, the sun that just, it will just destroy things if you're not. Sometimes you have to get out there and water it twice a day, or else it just doesn't. It will die quickly. So
you probably do a lot of covering. You have to provide shade cloth and that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, so a couple weeks ago we had some folks on from down in Australia on our live, and they had those high tunnel whatever it is. And, my question has always been about the tornadic winds, put it that way. We definitely, and I know you guys are in Iowa, so you probably have some of the similar issues, but, I've always been very concerned about putting something out there and creating a tent, a kite, basically.
Sure.
this one to grab a hold of it and then yank it and, just toss it all over the place and destroy things.
Mhm. Hey, Healthy G Mom and Seed Faith. I like to take my bok choy and brush it with some olive oil, salt and pepper, and put it on the grill with a little bit of a char. It's got to have the little bit of a char. It's very good then.
So I planted bok choy, but mine's getting really leggy.
Mm-hmm. You put fan on it?
No. You said, so put a fan on it?
Yeah, but not all day. I'm not a gardener like all the other folks in here, but I do well at this. But I will say the one thing that I have done last year was we put a fan on it. So like once a day we would put just a little breeze on it.
Yeah.
And that simulates the wind and it makes the plants get stronger.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We had the best seedlings we ever had last year because we always had leggies. So between the light, the heat mat, and the fan, we actually had amazing stuff.
Awesome. I'll have to try that.
Yeah,
Ooh, we
Monica.
got a guest down here. I don't know if she's ready. I want her to give me a thumbs up. She smiled. There we go. But yeah, it worked well. Hey, Annette.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. So everybody, this is Annette from the Cow Emporium.
Oh yeah, I always forget to add that on there.
Well, you're pulling calves, so you have an excuse. You'll probably have to leave in 2 seconds.
Oh, I told the kids at school this week I'm operating on 2 brain cells and one of them is misfiring. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough this week. We're sleepless in Alberta.
No kidding.
So I've been listening because I didn't want to jump in quite yet just because, I mean, stuff does happen, but we just checked like, I don't know, half an hour ago, so we should be good for a while.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of mamas need some help too this year, huh?
Oh, it's been a little bit crazy. Yeah, we've been in the barn a lot. And so we've had some breech ones. We had one with a foot back. We had one with 2 feet back. Actually, 2 breech. The second one didn't make it. And the 2 feet back, those are tricky ones because they don't even start to present like they're calving yet. So it's hard to tell. They don't present with that typical like water bag and that kind of thing for you to know that they're calving. So they're easy to kind of miss. Yeah.
Wow.
Annette, how many more do you have to go?
Well, I think we are at about 34 outcomes out of about 140. So yeah, we're just starting into our busiest 3 weeks here.
Wow.
Yeah. Though this forecast coming up sounds good. So, I mean, that decreases the hours between checking.
Wow. So next season, you're going to talk to the bull, right? And tell him 1 a week.
1 a week. Yeah. Either that. Everybody's like, well, why don't we calve when it's nicer out? But that also, it has its problems. I feel like I just took over chat.
No,
not at all.
That's okay. Because I was enjoying your gardening chat, but
no, we love listening to you. Keep going.
Oh, thank you. The problem we have with calving later on in the springtime is that if the ground, because we have farmland and not a lot of it is pasture where we're calving, then we have too much moisture and mud and causes scours and that kind of thing. So we're really picky. Our favorite would be like just frozen so that the ground isn't saturated and not too cold so that we don't lose ears and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's calving. They start calving here in February too.
Yeah.
Because in the spring they'll all do the branding and health checks and all that.
Yep. And one of the other reasons we calve earlier is because at our summer pasture, the calves really need to be aligned with their moms and kind of almost have a little bit of independence, because back there it's willow brush and bears and different kinds of things. So they need to be able to manage life back there, because they can't always see their moms and stuff. And so that's kind of, we don't want them too young, and they go back there at the end of May. So we need to be, for the most part, wrapped up. We do keep a small herd here at the farm, but yeah. And there's some of our neighbors have, like anybody that has purebreds, they calve early because they want that weaning weight to be high. So when they go to sell them, it's all about how much do they weigh and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Good night, Brampton Gardner. And guys, I just saw Nightbot came up. Let's not forget about Country Mama Musings. She's almost to 1K.
That's exciting.
So we're just going to do the push for her. We want to lift her up. But yeah, it sounds like the pattern that you follow for your calving is similar to how they do it here.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the free range cows come closer to home, so to speak.
Yeah.
In the winter, and they do the calving and all that around this time of the year. And it's funny because you always you always know it because the trucks are out in the field all night.
All night. Checking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they'll have that time of the year, you know, like I said, later on, they'll do the branding, and then they'll be free ranging. Then it just keeps repeating. And that seems similar to what you guys do.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. With a little bit of farming and haying and gardening in between.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Nightseed Faith Homestead, thanks for being here. Have a great weekend. Eric, is it a similar pattern for you in Texas because you're in a different climate? I'm just curious.
Well, I think I'm a bit different from Annette for sure, because I have a very small piece of property compared to her.
Right.
And I have my herd consists of about 15 mamas.
Perfect.
So right now we actually had our third calf yesterday, and you know, Monica and I have kind of talked about that. It's kind of funny that it seems like the strongest calves we have that become good mamas or good for processing purposes are the ones who are typically born in the colder months. And it seems like, I don't know, they just seem like stronger calves to us. So, yeah, we had one a couple years ago that was born like right before Christmas. And it was that year, I guess it was last year. Yeah, I think it was last year with the Snowmageddon and all that stuff down here, and the temperature got down to like single digits for like a week straight. And of course, that was when my brand new mama had dropped one of her calves, and this little thing was sitting out there one night, and I was like, you know what? Let me be the responsible cattleman, and I'll go out there and check on the calf, make sure everything's okay as we're going into the evening. And so, me being me, I go out there with flip-flops and shorts and t-shirt. And I'm walking out, and I see the entire herd along the fence line, and I'm like, sweet, where's the little calf? Well, the mama like caught a glimpse of me coming out, and then I saw her break away from the herd, and she started walking, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'll follow her to figure out where the calf is, because I knew she was going to go back to the calf when she saw me coming. And so the mama, of course, in this single-digit weather, was taking her grand old time, just walking back. And, of course, the calf was at the furthest point in the pasture. And the whole time I'm like, please hurry up. Please, I am freezing. I was out there in flip-flops. My little tippy toes were getting too cold.
What a manly man you are.
It was a bad decision. I'm going to be honest with you. I was halfway, and I started regretting my options in clothing. But I was looking back, and I'm like, well, I can either go back or just tough it out, you know. And so after the mama finally showed me where the calf was, I was checking the calf out. The calf was fine. You know, he's just looking at me like, hey, what's up, man? It's nice out here.
Thanks, Slava. Enjoy the time with the kitties. She said she can't chat because her cats came for their nighttime loving. And I just wanted to say, Country Mama, we talked about her almost to her 1K milestone. She only needs about 450 hours. So just an FYI. Let me give you the hint.
Your eye is smoking? What? I don't know what was happening right there?
What?
Two
You
words.
need to do that with Country Mama.
Watching. We can't even say the word watching.
I don't even know anymore. I don't even know anymore. Ever since that whole thing clicked, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Living in fear, Eric. Living in fear.
Right.
You wait, Eric. You just wait.
Yeah.
You guys all laugh. When you all get there, you'll be like this. You'll go, oh, dang it, Lisa, she was right. What can we say on the platform?
We'll be up there on our lives just doing sign language because you can't verbally express anything anymore.
That's right.
Scary.
I do have monetization trauma. Ask Leanne. I've heard other people who talked about it too.
Well, because it's so much work to get there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, our chaotic adventures. Well, let's see. We've got calving, Eric going out in his flip-flops and shorts. Jamie running from coyotes and getting a high tunnel.
I was listening to that. That is totally crazy.
And me growing out of coffee cans. Got a pig who just doesn't know which end to go around.
Too much gentleman there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He knows where to put his nose. He just doesn't know where other things go. Let's just say it that way. Well, they said one of the signs of the Kuni pigs is that they'll nudge them to see if they're ready to stand.
Yeah.
So he'll go up to the front of her. He'll go to the back. He'll rest his chin on her. That's what he keeps doing, like this, making all these noises, like he's all excited. And then she goes, and he goes the other way. I could probably put Grant in there, Eric.
I have read one of the books, the Raising Pigs or something like that, and they were basically indicating that sometimes you can make the female go into heat when it comes to hogs, and I think that I'm a person that will sit there and just watch the cattle or the cows or I'm sorry, cattle or the hogs, and just try to understand their behavior. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's really what's happening is they're trying to force them to go into heat because they know that's when they'll stand.
Yeah.
Because mine does the same thing. The one sow that I had, he used to do it to her so much that you would feel bad for her because her whole backside was swollen and red, and it can be a bit aggressive, but with the right mama, they know how to push them off or to kind of get away from them.
Yep.
But it can be pretty aggressive behavior.
Yeah, no, I've had no problem. I've been really good because, we've talked about it. I have the tendency to want to get in there and interfere, and I don't. I've backed off. I will admit I'm watching just because I want to see if it happens, and then I know, just because I'm trying to learn. But it's just, it was really funny. I had said to Monica on one of the backstage with Round the Hay Bale about me having pictures of pig parts on my phone for comparison. And I said, does that make me a bad person? I said, I'm really just trying to learn because they said that in Kuni gilts, it can be difficult to see swelling.
Yeah.
So I was taking pictures to compare.
Yeah.
Whereas with a sow, it's easier to see. Am I right?
Probably. I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's and I'll say it especially with the cows, and that will probably be able to clarify this too, that every female cow although that's what a cow is. But anyway, every female, their vulva is different. Some of them are a little bit more floppy than others. Some show a little bit different than others when they go into heat.
Look at
And some of them, I mean, so the cow that just dropped her calf the other day, her vulva got really flat and really long. But one of the other ones that I'm waiting for, her bloodline is kind of like a Brangus, and it's much tighter and it doesn't show very well. So I have to go to the second option, which is looking at her teats to figure out if she's starting to fill.
Yeah.
To have a better understanding. And so I'll say that same thing with the hogs is, if it's not the same exact breed, or sometimes it can be the same breed, just a different female, that they just present differently than the other one.
Yeah.
And so what you have to, it's kind of like your kids or dogs or whatever you have, you kind of like, how like when you have two of something, you can tell when the one is not acting right. And it's kind of the same way for me on the back end. When I look at the hind end, I know that one doesn't present this way, but this other one does.
Yep.
And so you may find that with the different females that it's different for everyone. And sometimes it follows the books, I mean, it's one thing I've learned with farming, again, not growing up doing this, is that I have found that all the information that you get from different people, you have to take it, you process it, and then you just kind of put it in a holding pattern until you see it happen. And then you can kind of say, oh yeah, this one was right. And again, it could be for this girl, but this girl, it's completely different. It's all learning.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, like, so far the times that we have put them together, because again, this is all new to me. I have no idea what I'm doing. All right. Not an expert. I've done all the reading to prepare, which I know is not everything. I know that. I've talked to Monica and Eric like crazy. But I've also talked to other people, and I have noticed behavioral changes with them. So even though I haven't noticed physical, there was a lot of noise at the fence that one time. And I was like, well, if you guys want to make a lot of noise and you don't normally make a lot of noise, come on, let's go visit. Right. And that's the 2 times that we put them together, and each time I've kind of looked, and I know it sounds weird, but like I said, I took a picture because that's how you compare.
That's not weird.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I figured it was just, but we were just laughing about it around the hay bale because I was like, Monica, and she was like, oh, you're a farmer now.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You're weird to everybody that's not farmers.
Right.
Monica and I, especially when we first started doing this, I can't tell you, I was like, if somebody grabbed my company phone and looked at this, they were going to be like, this guy's into like animal porn or something. Because like there's every body part you could imagine is in that phone. And I'm like, dude, I got to watch myself. People are going to be wondering what I'm up to.
Oh. Yeah. Good night, Debbie's home, please.
Well, and if you share pictures, like I just sent pictures of something to my vice principal a couple of weeks ago, and like, I don't know, my phone just attached like 20 extra pictures. And I was like, oh gosh, like it was horrifying.
I swear it's a calf. It's not a human.
But thank goodness I've known her for like 6 years, so it was okay. Everything on there was just farm stuff or, food, so whatever.
So she got a little bit of stuffed squash.
With that.
Little stuffed squash, a little calf pulling.
Yeah, the bulls walking by.
PCB. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
And I know, Jamie, you've got some new chickens.
Yes, we have new chickens. I'm not there with the lingo with you guys. I can barely say those words without laughing. I'm just, like super immature.
Jamie, come on, Jamie, grow up.
I'm sorry, it's true. Like you guys are talking like, God, they're so mature, and I'm like, I can barely say those words without laughing. So kudos to you guys. And I can't even tell the difference between a male rabbit and a female rabbit. So we have that too.
Do you want me to tell you a secret about that?
What?
The male has 2 nuts. I mean, I'm just telling you facts here. I'm trying to help you out. Jamie, let me tell you a story. This is really funny. So last year, Monica went to Myrtle Beach with the kids, and we had a friend of ours come over and feed and water all the animals because it was in the middle of summer. And so she would go out to the rabbits and put ice bottles into their cages. And so the mom, not the kid, but the mom texts me, and she's like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know this one rabbit, something was hanging off the backside of it." And I'm sitting there at work, and I'm like, hanging off the backside. And then she followed up with another text, and she said, "When I went to go take a second look, it was gone." And I'm like, "No, she can't be." And then, so I was like, just out of curiosity, what was the name above the cage? And she told me, and it's a boy's name. And I just like put the laughy faces, and I was like, that's the boy parts. And she was like, she laughed back, and she told me, we talked on the phone later. She's like, as soon as you said what was the name, it dawned on me exactly what I was looking at, which is why they disappeared when he got up and moved.
Hey, JB Conway. Hey, Michelle. Oh, that's so funny.
Yes.
You see what Rebecca Davis said? I don't know anything about rabbits. You're the rabbit gurus.
I think I'll go with Rebecca's. I think I'll go with her approach.
Instead of waiting for dangly bits.
Well, there's actually to wait for the dangly bits for a little animal like that. It takes a little while, but
it would.
Abigail does all the rabbits for us, and she sexes them. She does a really good job at it, but she basically just flips them over on their back and pulls at their legs. And if it's a female, what it looks like. If it's a male, it doesn't look like that. So
yeah. Hey, Mrs. VSNC09.
It takes a few times to get it right, but she's got it.
I know which ones are Sherman and Grant and Eleanor and Fiona.
Well, hey, look, the pigs don't hide nothing, man.
No,
it's all hanging out for everybody. I mean, it's even worse than like a bull. At least with a bull, it's between the legs.
Yeah.
With the pigs, they sport them things on the back of their legs for everybody to take a peek at.
Good night, garden to table. Here's the funniest thing, and I'm sure Monica wouldn't mind because she just makes me laugh. But I texted Monica and I said something to the effect of, "Sherman looks like he's really happy." And I wrote, "If you know what I mean." And she goes, "Ew." Because I was excited. That was the first time we saw something new. We'll get there. Oh, God. Alicia. That was too funny.
Well, Jamie, for you, I don't know if you were in the chat last night. We had the Naked Gardeners on our channel for the live, and we were talking because they were backyard gardeners for a long time, and then they were impacted by the tornado that hit like the year that we came down here, and it destroyed their house.
Okay.
So they relocated out onto a farm, and so we were talking about some things while on the channel last night. Because they had come to our house for dinner, and I kind of showed them around and some things I was looking at on the cows with the teats, like we were talking about momentarily ago. And anyway, he was trying to tell everybody that I was telling him all about their nipples. And I said, Sydney, when you become a farmer, they're no longer nipples. They are called teats. And he just started laughing. He's like, okay, I got it. But it's just a lingo. So at some point in time, you'll stop laughing and giggling.
I told you I'm super immature. Ryan will tell you. I seriously, I don't know.
I'm just going to keep having like, as my boys would always talk, like their potty mouth lingo, just to get you to giggle now.
Hey, Spirit House Media.
It doesn't take much.
Hey, Hey, we're farmers. That's what we do, right?
That's right.
I mean, that's the thing. It's sort of like when you become a parent and you sit there and you talk about things that you never talked about before and watch things that you never thought you'd be watching another human being do.
Oh yeah.
Hey, when we first bought rabbits and had to breed them in front of the kids, I had no idea what that was going to look like, and then one, like the 7-year-old was like, wow, that guy's moving fast.
He looks happy.
Hey, the awkward part is like when they're like, okay, I got it now. It's like,
You're like, hey, come on, let's go have the talk, and then you go show them rabbits. Rabbits is the talk.
right. There you go. That's how you're going to do it on the farm. Is they're like, boy, come here. I need to show you something.
Yeah, it's time on the farm.
I do have a question for you guys. So we actually struggle with our pigs, as you know, just the pot bellies, right? But they really need their nails trimmed. And we don't know what to do. Like, what would you recommend? Because I mean, like, I could football tackle them, like I could hold them down. But what do you recommend? Do you trim them?
Yes, we're about to embark on that journey ourselves because over the winter time, because they're not walking outside on rocks as much, they need it. So we bought a trimmer, and Ryan just said he just needs a refresher because he has done it before, but it's been like 25, 30 years. So he said, let's watch a video, but I know a lot of people get it where you can lay them down on their sides or their back, and then you do it.
Okay.
Is it like a Dremel or is it like actual clipper, Lisa?
It's like a clipper that you would use for goats. But again, first time doing it, we probably should have been handling them the whole time. But like Sherman, they're all pretty good. If you give them belly rubs, they want to lay down.
But Southern Belle said, give them a Benadryl or something and knock them to knock them and tackle them. That is a fantastic idea.
Hog tie them.
Eric, do you trim their nail? No. Is that like not a thing, or it's a thing, right?
Yes.
Well, the way I look at it is, one, how would they do it in the wild? That's number one.
Yep.
Number two, to Lisa's point, is how much have they been handled? And our breeder hogs that are 4, 5, 600 pounds, it's not worth me trying because I don't even get in the pen with them unless I need to. I mean, he doesn't like charge you, but he's definitely not trustworthy to lay him down on the side because they're so fast that they can get up and move. I would probably, if I needed to, I could probably do it with Peter, the one that we hand raised.
Yeah.
But Lisa, I think one of the other things, or Jamie too, if you're doing it, is if the device that you're using, whether it's mechanical, or if it's mechanical, turn it on and maybe just like set it on the other side of the fence and let them hear it. If it's not mechanical, maybe just set the device inside of the pen somewhere and let them get used to it.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I try to do a lot of hands off. I try not to intercede with them too much. I get, that's the thing. Like we were talking about earlier with what works and what doesn't. With Lisa and her place where she lives, and then because it's so cold and they're not getting out and walking around.
Right.
Mine, I let have not a huge piece of the pasture, but enough to get out and walk and exercise and eat some grass and, kind of just stretch their legs a little bit. But I don't know. I think they would have to be in a really bad spot, like they're having a hard time walking, before I would intercede on that. And if I did that with mine, I'd probably have to put it to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the difference is like with the potbelly pigs, Jamie and Ryan have them a lot longer, because we never had to trim Maggie and Winston's hooves at all. Sherman, we have not had to trim him the whole time we've had him, and we've had him a year. And the other girls are coming up on a year. But one thing that I did notice is that over the winter time, because when it was snowing and cold, they didn't have the friction with rocks to wear them down. So we were looking at it. And yes, Miss Southern Belle, that's exactly what I plan to do, is watch a YouTube video on it. But I do have the clipper. Mine is not a Dremel. It's just a regular one like you use for goat hooves.
Yeah, that's what we have too.
Thing.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. We might have to film it, but I don't know if I'll make it.
The other thing that I know that I've seen people do when they haven't done it on their backs, and I've also seen them do it successfully with dogs who don't like, now dogs and pigs are different, I'm not naive, but sometimes the fear comes from being in the front of the animal. So sometimes it's been more beneficial where, say, the head is here,
yeah,
and you bend the leg up and you're working at it from the rear.
Okay.
So basically, if this is my head and this is my leg, I'm going to put my hoof towards my back.
I feel like with our pigs, because they're not as tame, because we got them like I mean, they weren't babies when we got them, you know? So I feel like I might have to purchase a football helmet and
With a face shield.
the face. Yeah, because I don't want to mess up all this.
Better yet, just get sandpaper, put it on an 8x11 sheet of plywood, and lay it outside their house.
Why not?
That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this:
Hey,
how
Nick.
old are these potbellies?
I don't even know. We don't know.
Are you going to breed them?
No, they're weathered. I think, is that the term, weathered? They're weathered. They don't have their man parts.
Oh, these are boys.
Yeah.
What are you doing with them? You just feeding them?
So we're using them to till up the land. So they've been so the property that we're on has a lot of opportunity, a lot. Okay. And so what we're doing is we're rotating them around the land to kind of till up it. And then there's a lot we have to do. So they're actually doing a lot of that work for us. Don't judge me.
No. It's no judgment at all. But look,
Sandpaper, 8x11 sheet.
I mean,
plywood.
look, for me, and this is just my opinion, but for me, if they're there to do work, let them go do work. And because my concern would be, if, especially with you being the owner, acknowledging that they're not tame, you don't need a helmet, because they're going to grab your arm, hand, finger, whatever they can. If you're doing something they don't want done to them, and that you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And you don't ever want to do that. But if you went and bought, if finances allowed, you could go buy the pigs that you wanted, use them as breeders, have a nonstop crew to go dig up whatever you need to dig up, but you handle them from the time that you get them, like they're dogs, so you can do anything you want to them.
Yep.
Just like show pigs.
That's I'll tell you what, that's definitely a lesson learned for us, Eric, with these pigs. Definitely a lesson learned on that, because right now, they're getting used to us, but just not nearly what they should be.
Well, see, the thing is too, though, if you pin them down, or if you lasso them, or anything that you do like that scares them or doesn't, it's going to push them further from you.
Yes.
And I'm speaking out of experience, and just like what I'm telling you, I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
Every mistake I could have made, I made.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if you look at Sherman, Sherman literally was 3 months old and spent all his days in a barn with his litter mates and the lady's father, the breeder's father. Okay. He was so handled. Then I have Grant. Grant will eat through my boot. And I have to teach Grant not to eat through my boot. If I go to grab Grant's bowl, I have to make sure that my hand is not near his mouth. And he has to get a little whap on the nose so he knows it's not right. I'm not hurting him.
Yeah.
But it's just because he is literally, Grant is like crazy man, right? Sherman, my gentle giant, is the one who knocked me over. And honestly, he didn't mean to. He was just being a pig. Tonight he went again through my legs, but what do I do now? I hold on to the fence, man. Lee, I forgot to get the bowls like I usually do in between feedings. And I got down there and I went, oh, darn it. So I go in there slow and I hook my arm on the fence so that if I fall, I'm not going far. And I kick it over with my boot over to the fence and then I knock it over. But Sherman's like, hey, what you got? What you got, man? Hey, what's going on? Where's the food? So, I mean, if they're not handled, they're going to bowl you over.
Yeah.
Because even our meat pigs were really skittish, but they warmed up to us and we could walk around in there with them. But I could imagine if they were 300 pounds a piece. I couldn't imagine if they were crazy.
Yeah. Like I saw Eric, that video you did with your pig, the boar, like that, to me was like, it was eye opening. Like it really was. And, just not letting your guard down regardless. You know what I mean? So like that video actually really kind of helped me and opened my eyes a little bit just to really not let my guard down because of the strength that these animals have. So that was helpful. Absolutely.
Well, and the thing is that before, as I shared with you all, we had pot bellies. That's how we started.
Yep.
And we had one little boar he was a great boar. He did his job. He got the girls pregnant. But the problem was I couldn't get near him. I couldn't grab a hold of him. At some point in time, I had to put him down. And to understand how strong these animals are, I had to shoot him 5 times with a 9mm before he finally dropped.
Wow.
Night Raid Family Homestead.
And that's a pot belly. He was probably about 100, 125 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But they are flight first and then fight. You back them into the corner, they're going to fight their way out. They're not afraid to do it. But
that's good to know.
That's why I'm saying that if it were me, I wouldn't try to do that with their feet, because any trust you have, they're probably it's going to go out the window.
Okay.
And at least if you have any kind of relationship with them where you can kind of push them where you want them, or kind of lure them over with the bucket, that's all you need right now, because all you need is for them to do their job.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
You could try behavioral training. Like they do with dogs. You could sit there with the treat and you could touch their foot and go, foot. Foot. I had to do that with Diesel because, he was out of control when I got him. He had to have eye medication. And I remember the vet says, okay, I'm going to give you like 4 eye medications. I said, how are we going to get him in his eyes? And the vet's like, what do you mean? Can't you get medicine in his eyes? I said, no, I just adopted him. He won't let me touch him. And I said, you can leave me eye drops. So for a while there, I was walking around the house and Diesel would walk around and I'd go, hey, Diesel. He'd look up and I'd go. But finally they gave us gel, but I had to work with a trainer actually to get to the point where he would let me touch his eyes. He'll let me do his eyes, but he'll let Ryan do his face, like his wrinkles, and his nails he'll let Ryan do, but that's it. I'd rather handle the pigs.
Alicia said something about forking.
Yes, she said look up forking.
Okay.
No, I'm not looking up anything that Alicia says. You're going to say, yeah, I looked it up, and then she's going to turn it around and say, put it on a T-shirt. She's going to get you one way or another.
Forking. I need to look this up. Now I'm curious.
Better you than me, Lisa.
Well, I'm afraid what's going to come up.
Right. You're going to start
it's not
getting
bad.
What is it?
Well, I put forking in Google and it said fork. And it talked about the road, but then there was this Urban Dictionary explanation. You might want to skip that one.
Yeah, see?
Not one I can talk about here. Oh, pig forking. Okay, thanks. There, yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, you got to clarify on that one.
She said, look up pig forking. It's safer, just saying.
Well, I feel like I'm going to see Sherman and Eleanor there.
Oh my
Oh wow. Yeah, you could Google that. Pig forking. That's pretty safe, Jamie.
Now, one thing I have tried to look into, and I think I would say this is probably more for a lack of understanding of the animals, because I was going to do this for one of our yearlings, one of our calves when we first got into cattle and stuff like that, was those tranquilizer blow darts.
Want one of them.
Hmm.
I want
But-
them for people.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say you can't use them on people? I mean,
Like, where would one get one of these? Yes.
you can look it up on online. There's certainly a lot of places that sell them. Same thing with, I think they have like the CO2 cartridge guns that shoot the tranquilizers as well. I mean, if you watch anything like Discovery or Animal Planet, when they're like the zoo animals, they have to put large animals down.
Yeah.
They use the guns to do that. But I think it gets back to understanding the personality and the behavior of the animal. When you understand the behavior, most of the time, unless it's one that's way out of control, you don't normally need something like that. You just have to kind of tap into being whatever animal that is.
Good night, Nick at Arizona Highland Homestead. And yes, Joe Serrano, absolutely. I told Diesel to look up and I squirted and hopefully hit his eye. But then I want you to know, like on the third or fourth time, he figured that out and he was done looking at me. Jamie can laugh because that's a bulldog life right there.
Yes, it is.
Good night, Nisi, Free Hanley Maid. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you.
Well,
Diesel has to be put down for stuff to go to bed, be done to him.
I think that my internet's starting to have some trouble here, so I'm gonna say good night.
Thanks for coming up, Annette.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was really thoughtful.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you're welcome anytime, my friend.
All right, you guys take care.
All right, say hi to Glenn.
I will. Okay, bye.
Bye. Tuber chat, raid coming.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what's going on there? That's funny. Kevin at Tuber chat is awesome. He's got an awesome channel. Yeah, so I think we've solved the world's problems here tonight.
I feel like we have. Yeah. I feel like we have.
Country Mom is like, is a raid coming? We're trying to get Country Mama to 1K.
Well, that's what you got to do. As soon as they pop in, just start telling everybody, go over there and get her up to 1K.
That's right. That's right. I've got it. I think it's still in the chat. Can you guys see it where it's pinned in the chat?
I am working only off of the StreamYard tab
Gotcha.
because I've got like every kid in this house right now streaming something.
Wow.
I think that's why my camera was not acting right earlier. It was glitching out on me.
Oh.
Are you guys satellite for internet? No, you're not.
We're fiber. Whenever we did our first live, that was when we first got our fiber. We were actually waiting
Nice.
for our fiber to come in place because, yeah, we were satellite, and we were satellite at first, and then we went to some towers, and
Yep.
it was horrible.
I'm satellite.
Are you happy with it?
I mean, it's better than what I thought it was. It was gonna, but we point right at the tower. Like it's literally pretty close to us. So I think we're good there. So
I ironically have the best internet we've ever had.
that's awesome.
We have cable internet. We usually don't have not had that because where we lived, it was not an option. It was 3 doors down, but if you wanted to spend the money to bring it down to you, you could.
Yeah.
But we never did that. But when I first moved in here, I was working remotely and we paid for the higher one and kept it, and it worked out good because it's been very helpful. We don't have any uploading or downloading issues. I had one time and that was it, but knock on wood, it's been a really good company.
I miss it.
Yeah.
When we when my oldest son first got married, he moved into town, and of course he had, city type fiber. I mean, it was so fast, right? And I remember one of my videos, I was having a hard time uploading. I was like, you know what? On my way home from work tomorrow, I'm going to stop by his house. And him nor his wife were home, but I stood up in front of the front door where I got signal. I mean, I was like leaning right up against the door, like hitting upload. And that thing loaded in like, I don't know, 30 seconds. And I'm like, what? This is
Yeah.
taking me like 15 minutes to load up at my house, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean my videos, I am able to take it from iMovie to my desktop and then upload it to YouTube, and the video itself is uploaded into the processing phase pretty quickly. Probably in about 5 minutes.
Wow. Yeah,
But
I miss
that's again
that.
the cable.
Yeah, I
Hey,
miss
Chris's
it a lot.
Clevercraft.
A lot because satellite. That's all we have around here is just the satellite. But we're fortunate, we don't really have too many issues. But I really miss that fiber.
I bet you do. Yeah, and I mean the other thing is you guys work remotely, so you probably get accustomed to it too.
Yeah.
I know for us, we had the Apple TV. We canceled cable probably in 2012, and all we had was Apple TV. And the funniest thing is that we had a hotspot in one part of North Carolina, and then another one we had. It felt like DSL or dial-up, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But I had to set the Apple TV had to be reset like several times a day. And it's like here, Ryan was like, do we even reset this anymore? Look, yeah. Oh, look at there's a love raid coming in. Check this out. Hey, Jeremy D-Day. Hey, Tuber Chat. Hey, Storm and CA. Welcome in. Thanks for the raid. Hey, Chris's Clevercraft. There's Scratch and Pete PA. Oh, you guys are nice. Hey, is it Cabrera Gaming? Very cool. You guys are awesome. Tuber Chat must have been live before us. Country Mama, she's like, woohoo! Do you guys upload in 4K?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Hey, and Angels Army. Great to meet you too.
Hey, Eric, what kind of drone do you have?
It's the DJI Mini 2.
The Mini 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the next level? Well, Ryan was looking at a drone, and it was the DJI, but it was it didn't say Mini. It says it was something else. It was
Air.
What was it? Air 2 or something.
Okay.
But I don't know what level that is from the drone perspective, from where you're.
Well, the one I had, I think, was chosen based upon what fit the budget.
Yeah.
It is truly a smart drone. Like, it does a lot of thinking for you. It tells you when you're entering into certain airspace. It automatically returns to you if it loses signal. You can set up different home points. You can set up. I mean, it's just like your smartphone, where it does a lot of thinking for you. And the thing I like about it is so compact. I mean, it can sit in the palm of my hand, and it has a little bag. It's about like this big, and it works right with my iPhone. And it's super easy to transport places. It shoots in 4K. If you're good with photography, which I am not, but if you're good with that and you understand like all the different speeds, then the picture levels are the same as like a Rebel Canon type of camera. So it's got a really, I mean, it's high tech stuff, and it's also rated for, I think it can fly up into winds of like 20 to 30 miles per hour.
Awesome.
Wow. I just want to say, I know I've been promoting Country Mama all night, and I do want to point out that Scratch and Pete PA is here. He is an amazing community supporter, and he hit his 1K milestone, but he is in need of hours, so he needs, some of this time.
Got it.
Smoking eyes. Okay.
He needs some smoky eyes.
The old
But
smoky
Scratch
eye.
and Pete is the sweetest guy, and he does a lot for this community. I'm not saying that we all go, you for this or me for you, but let me just say it's pretty heavy-handed on Pete's side of the supporting machine. And he's an amazing guy, so let's make sure we show him some love and help him get where he needs to be. And also Country Mama Musings, we want to get her to 1K. She needs about 450 watch hours, but that'll come quick. I know, just the subscribers. Oh, you're welcome, Pete. You're the bomb, Pete. We love you.
And thebomb.com.
Pete is thebomb.com. If you haven't watched his videos, he does premieres on Tuesdays, and he does these scratching tickets. He's really awesome. And his premieres are hopping. So I really love Pete. He's awesome. Pete's a great guy. He's just a wonderful supporter of this community. I shouted him out on Instagram too, just to see if he could get some new folks coming over versus YouTube, because I know he's all over YouTube. So I just want to make sure that we support him.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's great. He's awesome. So what other world problems are we solving tonight here in the farm world? Look at that raised eyebrow.
I don't know if I'm solving anything tonight.
You are. Yeah.
We got Jamie safe and sound now.
Yeah.
No, I know what's going to happen in like a week's time. We're going to see her out there riding hogs around the field and trying to clip their toenails while they're running in place or something. I don't know.
Hey, gas is high, so she's going to put a saddle on the pig and she's going to ride it to town. And, like all those memes that are on Facebook and stuff where they're like, this is how I'm getting to town now or whatever.
Ain't no shame here.
Well, that's all right. When Ryan had my truck out because he's been using my truck, and one of the guys he works with needed a ride, so he gave him his work truck. And it was really funny because I said, so how do I get to town? He's like, you got the buggy. I'm like, how cold that buggy is?
How far away from town are you, Lisa?
Oh, 2 minutes.
Oh, that's cool.
2 minutes. I'm really, really close. I could walk to town on the trail. But yeah, I'm right outside of town limits, which is really nice.
That is cool.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I have that cable internet,
Yeah. Well, I was wondering because I was like, well, you got to be pretty close. And then
yeah.
Eric, how far out of town are you guys? Are you not too far out?
We're kind of sandwiched between two different cities.
Okay.
And it's towns. It's not like big cities, but we're about 20 minutes out from both of them.
And you have fiber?
Yeah, because the one city is, when we moved down here in 2014, it's actually a growing community in the country. And since we've been here, all the people that were in that county are now moving further east.
Okay.
And so they're pushing into basically right into the county where I am. And I'm only like a mile away from that county. So they have sold a lot of acreage back there to start putting in communities and things like that. So the company that put the fiber in basically ran right down this road, and they pulled it a certain distance, and then you paid the rest of the way. But
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to talk about first world problems? That's when the kids, when we had the other internet, and they were like, I can't even play because it keeps jamming up. I can't. Every time I go to shoot somebody, the gun just locks up, and then what's the point of even playing? And I'm like, well, then turn it off. Well, I mean, I guess it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Oh, I know it. It was crazy. We used to laugh because where we were outside of Asheville, and then I want to get to Pure Pondering's question, but where we were outside of Asheville, they obviously, like all towns, they struggle with substance abuse. And there was a lot of heroin use that came into Asheville. And along with it comes crime. So what happens, it spills out into the rural areas. And so we had an alarm system. Well, the funniest thing is I can't tell you how many times a day I had to set that darn Apple TV or the internet or whatever and so on. That ADP alarm had no flexibility whatsoever. Boy, that went right through, no problem. Every time.
I know.
And it's just like they gotta call me up and I gotta sit there and go, oh dang, I can't remember the password. You know? Hey, Pure Pondering wants to know who's planning to do the Mammoth Sunflower Challenge. I will not be because I live in South Dakota. It's hard to get anything to grow here.
I don't know anything about that, to be honest with you.
Thank you for saying that, Eric. I don't either. I'm like, oh gosh, should I know this? And I don't know this. Why don't I know this?
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one. I was thinking of Will It Grow? I could have the wrong one.
Monica and I have kind of talked about doing a sunflower, and of course that was always a concern of mine. Again, being where we live with the land, but some of the other folks that we know down here close to where we live, they've utilized the sunflowers, and I guess with all the pollinators and everything else that it brings, it's definitely beneficial to have. So,
Eric, ours are like tree trunks. Like I am not kidding. They're like tree trunks. They're huge.
That's what I've heard. And I just, I guess in my mind, from the little sunflowers you buy at like flower shops or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've ever seen a mammoth sunflower.
They're huge. When we lived in Connecticut, we lived on a road. It was called Route 44. So 55 miles an hour, people would go by, and the mammoth sunflowers with the big trucks would go by, and the sunflowers would all go, and they were fine.
Wow.
Alicia said my sunflowers got about 12 foot last year. Ours did too, and they were so huge. And we actually cut the heads off the sunflowers and we sold them at our markets for people to grill them.
Yep.
Wait, grill what?
Grill the sunflower heads. It's actually, so if you cut them before the seeds actually harden, it's like the seeds are soft, then you can actually basically brush them with like olive oil, and then you put them face down on the grill. And there's different recipes for them, but like you could use it as like a meat substitute, and you could do like a taco. In actuality, like it was just a cool concept. You're literally, you're eating the sunflower head. People love them. They love them.
It's very cool. I've seen people do that. No, Joe Serrano, I am not. I decided to stay out of Shed Wars because I just don't have the time to dedicate to it.
Eric, are you guys?
Monica's talked before about growing things, and she would rather give canned goods away or fresh vegetables away than to sell them, because when it feels like a job, it doesn't seem to be as enjoyable.
Sure.
And I think I'm kind of at that place with some of the videos that I've seen where people are weighing their vegetables out and things like that. Yeah. I don't know that I want to go to that place. I feel like if I go there, it's going to take a lot of enjoyment out of it for me.
Yep.
And maybe not. I don't know. I've never done it before, but that's just my initial thought. I think it's cool watching people harvest all that. That's exciting for me to watch people do that stuff, but I just don't know that's a good challenge.
It's not your thing.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bedtime story.
Okay.
I had this app last year. I still have it, but it's called Flockstar. And when we first got our dozen chickens, I was tracking all my eggs. It was so cool. So cool. It got old. Enter in eggs with pictures every day. When I had, 11, 12, it was fine. 26, not happening. What was really cool, though, I will say, is you knew how many eggs you got a year. And you knew, because some people know which chickens lay what egg. I don't. I just know if they're white, they're leghorns. And I know I've got one who lays some really freaky shells. Need to figure out who it is. But the other thing was SmartSteader was another app. I don't know if I can see it. Hang on. With the chicken,
Yeah.
the blue one.
Okay.
SmartSteader, we paid for it, and I did that to track the pork and the meat birds, so we knew how much a pound. Because every time I bought feed, I entered it in there,
Yeah.
and it kept track of it. But even that got old after a while. So
Mm.
sometimes the easiest way is a pen and paper, or don't weigh your food, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it. I think and that's probably what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. To me, it's all about, for me, it's all about, well, how can I do this? Like last year with the Swiss chard in the greenhouse with the snow on the ground. It was like, I didn't need weight. All I needed was there was snow on the ground, and I opened up the greenhouse and it was warm, and there was actually food in there that I could harvest.
That's
There you
cool.
go.
You know, so that was real exciting. I just like trying really weird things.
One thing I wanted to try, which is it's difficult because of working out of the house and especially working a far distance from the house, is I wanted to challenge myself to eat, if you will, only what has been grown on our farm for 30 days.
Yeah.
Good for you.
No, well, I didn't do it. I just said I wanted to do it.
Oh, I thought you were starting tomorrow.
No.
As Eric goes down to the rib place for lunch.
We actually said the same thing, Eric. We wanted to do the same thing, but it's like it's so hard, man, because you want to eat. It takes longer to prepare it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that's the convenience of it, and that's what. But we really, I mean, just imagine if you could do that. You know, the cost benefit there and the health benefit alone would be so substantial, and we really need to do it. We do.
Maybe that's what we need to do as a homesteading group.
Yeah.
Is that could be the challenge. And it's not necessary, you don't have to necessarily do videos on it. It's just more of, for lack of better terms, like accountability.
Yeah.
To show that, hey, you can do this. Because I think that's, like you said, there's always like this excuse as to why you can't. It's not as convenient, or it's not prepared, or and it's just like dieting, right? Yeah. If the food is prepared and in the fridge and ready to eat, then you're more likely to stay on your diet instead of having to cook it all the time.
Yeah.
I will say this, we did a lot better after everything hit the fan in 2020. We did a lot better, and a lot of stuff is from home. Now a lot of stuff is from home. I will say recently, the past couple of weeks, not so much.
Yeah.
Like tonight, I was like, I'm not having pork again. Like, we're having pizza. But even with pizza, for the most part, I've been making it at home. But I find that when I get closer to a point where I need to go shopping, which is usually every couple of months or so, because we buy a lot at one time.
Yeah.
Just because it makes our lives easier. Him and I go, we get it done, and we bring it home, and we're done. Because we don't have to buy meat. So, but then we live off of it for a while. And then when it starts getting to be slim pickings, tonight it was like, all right, yeah. Would you like the chicken bacon ranch baked pasta? The live's at 7:30, so I got time. But otherwise we were pretty good for the longest time.
That's one of the things that Monica has really been working hard on. I know that she's talked to you, Lisa, about the that electric canner that she does on the countertop.
Yep.
But she has, and I know this may not be everybody's cup of tea, but she has taken a lot of leftovers and canned stuff.
Nice.
And the other night, I think it was Wednesday night when all the kids were at church, except for myself and then my 20-year-old. So he was kind of left to make dinner, and he basically went into the pantry and grabbed a jar of already cooked meatballs, dumped them in the pot, put some tomato sauce with it, and made. I don't even know what he made. I don't know what it was, but it was good. But it was already. Oh, look there! Yeah, look there. I know Miss Mennonite over there. I don't know. She doesn't like our techniques of canning, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for stuff like that. I mean, I try to do not the canning necessarily, but I'm hoping to use the freeze dryer with our garden this year and get some stuff in there. I'm hoping to use it for leftovers too. Recently, we just haven't had any because when we make with the two of us, right, we make enough. So say we take out what I've been doing is taking out like a whole meat bird. And if I cook it whole, obviously we eat it for a few days, or I cut it into pieces. We don't cut it into pieces when we butcher it. And I've decided we're never doing that. It's just so much easier because once you defrost it, I've become a pro at cutting it apart. Leanne laughed at me the other night because I sent a picture of her that I had everything in the oven and I needed to go do chores, which takes about a half an hour. And, the breasts are going to dry out because they're small. So I cut I cut the breasts on the bone and left it in the oven. You guys can laugh at me all you want. It was moist and it all came out at the same time versus me having to take the breasts out earlier and have them be dried out. So I'll be doing that again.
It makes sense. We need to learn how to can around here. And I think
me too.
I think I've been watching a lot of Leanne's stuff and it's been helpful. It really has, just when we get to that point.
One step at a time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's hard, like I've been telling Leanne and a bunch of people, it's like with the stove that we have, we've been debating, do we buy a new one? And I'm like, I don't really want to buy a new one right now. Then we thought, well, maybe we'll buy new burners, but it's like, I can't even boil water without boiling it over. And it's not because of me, it's because the darn thing doesn't adjust well.
Oh, see, mine's because of me.
Oh.
So I can't even cook water without boiling it or without burning it.
Yeah.
Bad. It's bad.
Pure pondering. Yeah. I bought the electric one. Also I think they called it, Alicia, what did they call it? They changed the name of it. Yours was one thing and now mine says the Carry Canner, but it's the same thing. Hey, Retro Oregon.
Yeah, I think that's the advantage of this electric one here is you can do small batches at a time. And see, that was the problem we were having for many years with growing stuff in the garden was we would have so much waste because we would bring it into the house with great intentions to can, to dehydrate, to freeze, whatever it was. And by the time you finally got to it, it was just, it was too late. So it ended up going to the compost or to the pigs.
Yep.
So
same. Exactly.
And I think that's the advantage.
Oh, sorry, Eric.
That's okay. I think that's the advantage of the electric one is you can set it and then go and do something else and just keep an ear out for it.
Yep.
Opposed to the one that you do on the stovetop where you're constantly, staring at it. That's always been Monica's problem is, with all the kids and then, of course, farm life and homeschooling, it's near impossible to sit there and stare at a pressure canner for 2-3 hours.
Well, I had told Ryan I was going to get what Alicia had, that single burner thing. I was like, I'll get one of them to do it. And I was just like, well, I'm just going to buy the electric canner. And then whoops, it showed up on our doorstep. But what I like about the freeze dryer is you set it and then it just keeps running and running. And then like, it tells you like, oh, hey, check me out. Do I need more time or can we defrost the unit? And I'm like, yeah, defrost. Boop. The biggest thing I have to remember is the drain hose. You have to open it when you're done because it releases all the moisture out of the unit that it took out of the food. And if you have it in a bucket, I guess they assume some people might leave it in a bucket of water. Like me, I empty the bucket all the time. Eric's making faces. Whoa. Hi, beautiful.
Hello.
Hi.
I was watching shows with my daughter.
Oh, that's fun. Enjoy.
Yeah,
we were just talking about you.
Oh, see, my nose was twinkling, tinkling, or whatever. I don't even know what to say. See, I can't talk. I can't talk very goodly this time either.
Your ears are burning.
I'm not good.
It's
time for bed, really, but the kids want to watch a movie, so I'm coming to inform you that they're getting ready to turn on the Avengers without you.
Oh, well, we're going to be ending here in just a second so he can get going whenever he wants to. He's been a wonderful
I'm getting
guest
kid
tonight.
toothbrushes for them.
This is Monica's toothbrush.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
This is Dude Perfect. They're YouTubers, and they have like millions of subscribers. So let's hashtag Dude Perfect now since I said it. And that way they'll come check out the live. They're actually in Frisco. So they're like really close to here. So.
Okay, well, here you go.
Yeah. See, I need to see if I can get them on my show.
Oh my god.
You could.
No Daddy Beans?
The kids would freak out. I can get Daddy Beans in just a minute. I'll be right back.
No,
BRB.
I'm leaving.
You got Wile E. Coyote on the screen right there. And
If
by the way, if you ever need to find meat, you just follow Jamie. She's got coyotes chasing her down. Just get behind her, shoot the coyotes.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's good thinking. See?
Look at
Where's she been all night?
Yeah. Leanne's video from today went to 2,700 views.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's it. Leanne going to be at 10K for her 1-year anniversary. I guarantee it.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I believe it. It's good stuff.
I do too.
Yep.
Pure Pondering, you said that's a lot of money. That's not what I spent.
Yeah, that's what we have. You have the same thing we do, right, Lisa?
I have the Nesco or the Carry, and it was not that amount of money at all. It was like 100 and something.
I feel like, what do you have for the canner? What's your canner? The Presto or the Nesco?
It's the Nesco. Carrie and Nesco are the same though.
Now it's Nesco and Carrie's under them, whereas when Alicia got it, it was Nesco. Because I noticed on her picture or in her old video, yours and mine say Carrie on them now. Is that
no?
right?
Mine actually says Nesco, but it looks like Carrie.
Yeah, mine says Carrie now.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Am I loud?
All right. Well, I'm going to let everybody get going. I just want to say thank you, panel guests, for being here tonight. Thank you, Jamie, for being on, and Eric, Daddy Beans.
Oh,
hang on, Monica. Hang on.
Right before bed. That thing scares me a little bit. I'm just slightly intimidated by that thing.
He's got a beauty mark.
What's bad is Monica still plays with her dollies.
Look at the family picture.
No, get that thing out of here.
When all my kids are gone, guess who will still be here?
Me.
Daddy
Get that
Beans.
thing out of here.
That should be your Christmas card.
In like 15 years, all my kids are all out of the house.
Lisa, I know Monica sent you that picture. You saw the picture, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I thought that was hilarious, and this is why we get along, by the way, because Ryan would have done the same thing, or Ryan would have taken it a step further. Let's just say that.
Well, that day when she put it in the gun case, I don't get scared like that. And that was the dumbest thing. I opened that thing. I wanted to rip its head off.
I've been waiting for you for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You carry more.
It's a good thing.
Oh my gosh!
It's a good thing that you found them when you were next to me. Put it that way.
I love you guys. I love you guys.
Wait, I could look at the comments the whole time.
Why were you not looking at the comments?
I didn't know that.
He hasn't seen the comments. He had it on the private chat the entire time. He has literally not seen any comments at all. Oh, Eric, you need me.
Of course I need you.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. Jamie, thanks for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was fun.
Just so you guys are always welcome here. We appreciate you. Good conversation. And everybody in the chat, thank you so much. And don't forget to check out Country Mama Musings along with everyone else. She's getting close to her 1K, and Scratch and Pete PA is needing some viewing hours. And check everybody out here tonight. But thank you so much. Hey, Jake Nunya. Yeah, viewing. Yeah, you'll be there one day too. We'll laugh then too. But thank you everybody so much. We love you guys. Have a great weekend.
Nighty
Bye,
night.
y'all.